Welcome to Elevate the Game, where DFW's top leaders drop gems on success, strategy, and legacy with your hosts Jorge Abreu and Eric Badiwala. Let's get into it.
Today, I'm joined with Joyjit Roy, a program management leader focused on AI, machine learning, and enterprise transformation. He has led major technology initiatives across industries like insurance and e-commerce, helping organizations modernize systems and make faster, data-driven decisions. Joy, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So if you can give us a quick snapshot of your business and what you do and kind of how you got there.
Well, I've been working in IT industry since last 21 years. In fact, it's more than 21 years. So started my career as a software developer and transitioned to a program manager around 11 years back. So first 11 years of my career, I worked as a developer and architect. So it was a service company. And then I joined Dell Technologies in 2015, worked there for 9 years. And currently I've been working for USAA, United Services Automobile Association. So
Okay.
it's an insurance company. It's a banking sector also, but it's finance and insurance. Well, so it's long career, right? And I've been working for USA for since last 1.5 years. But when I was in Dell, around early 2024, right? I started managing a program that is related to AI. So that time I start, learning AI. And when I was managing a program on AI, I actually completed a postgraduate certification on AI/ML from UT, University of Texas, which was like for 9 months. And that's since I'm from technical background, started my career as a technical background, and I'm very close and attached to technology throughout my career, right? It didn't take a lot of work for me to actually understand the conceptual part of AI. And that's, UT certification was really good. It helped me to go deeper, understand the core concept of AI/ML, and that elevate my interest. Though by end of 2024, I moved from Dell to USA, I continue learning from the personal perspective and as well as the program that I've been leading right now since last 1.5 years. It has a lot of AI involvements. So I'm managing a portfolio, but part of that portfolio has a lot of AI/ML. Basically, it is modernizing their USA legacy services, right? From existing, system to cloud-based where AI/ML is involved. So that's the whole program. And this program has a lot of visibility. That has a lot of public presence also for USCS. There are a lot of internets and different forums. This modernization has been discussed. So that's why I'm giving this information, to be honest. But so from personal perspective, I learned AI/ML and at the same time leading the programs, I would say. Combination of these two things actually helped me to accelerate my learning. And sometime around last year, I realized that I can actually contribute to the world, AI/ML world, I would say, because there are a lot of research going on, and this is something evolving technologies. So I started doing research, and that's almost 4, 5, or 6 months, I would say, or 6 to 7 months I've been doing that. Definitely, I have a team, right? With very talented people. I worked with them closely. And eventually I published some, conference papers, research papers in IEEE conference. It is published, and I've been working on multiple IEEE conference research papers. This month I have some presentation on some good conference in US, Southeastern Conference. And at the same time, I'm working on a research journal, right? So that's my journey throughout my career, since 2004, 2026 now, almost 22 years. So it's a little bit about myself and my journey
Nice,
to,
nice.
yeah.
Yeah, very familiar with USAA, great insurance company from what I can see. With our construction company, we work with a lot with insurance companies from claims, and USAA is always on
Absolutely.
point.
Great.
But,
And I work for USA as a contractor. My employer is K-Force. So K-Force, I work as a contractor to USA, just to add the note. Yeah.
Got it. So you're contract work for them.
Yes, it's a
Got
contract.
it. Got it. So obviously there's a lot of competition in the tech space and software and all that. What would you say? What's something that separates you from the others from the competition? Like what has allowed you to
Well,
kind of grow in that space?
right. So this is actually a very good question, to be honest, first of all, right? What makes someone separate in technical dress? Uh, Before I talk about this, I would like to tell one thing that since last 2, 3 years, the technology advancement has been accelerated. So what happened? Basically, I would say post-COVID era, and we do see that is accelerating very fast. And in future, it will be the trend will be going on, and it's because of AI, ML, and then I personally believe the quantum QML, that's called quantum machine learning, which is actually evolving. It's not evolving; it's like in its conceptual state. But yes, next 5 years will be very crucial in IT world, right? So the fact here is what happened before or pre-COVID and what is happening post-COVID is completely different. And for anyone, any IT person, like you be a developer, an entry-level developer, or you be a tech leader with a lot of experience, right? Doesn't matter. You have to understand the technology from the core if you want to sustain in technical world,
Mm.
right? So the first thing that in this AI race, there are two options you have. Either you could be, follower, right? Or you could be an early adopter. It's your choice. So I still remember like I joined in IT industry in 2004 and we are the byproduct of the dot-com evolution. Though that happened earlier, like late last century and it's 2020 and 22 also that it was there. And that's why we can get into this IT world. I mean, studying engineering and everything because we saw that this is actually a very promising career. This again happening in a different form, different flavor, right? So that time, those people who are actually started their career early, they are in a very good position now. Similarly, if you are an early adapter in AI, you will climb the ladder very fast in career. I mean, obviously in career, I would say, right? But if you're a follower, then there will be this AI is very unprecedented way it is moving. We do not know what will happen if you are not getting into this. Not any industrial revolution doesn't follow the previous one, never, or any historical way. It's always come with a unique flavor, and AI has its own. So if you are a follower, like people are getting into that, that's what you are getting into. You should not take the risk. Learn right now. Be an early adopter. That's my first advice, right? Second thing I'll talk about is it's very important. People think AML are tools, and it is probably because of all the tools and ChatGPT started, right? It's make AML accessible to normal people like us, everyone. And that now the concept thinks everyone thinks that okay, if I learn the tool, how to use the tool, how to do prompt engineering, and how if I know how I need to use AI in my business is good enough. Yes, it is good enough for someone who are not in core IT industry. If you are talking about a person who actually in core IT industry, don't only stick yourself or just consider AIML as a tool, right? So people, I'm getting a lot of questions from a lot of people that, hey, I want to take this course where we have no technology involved. We'll just know how to use AIML. Is this enough? I say no. You have to understand AIML from core because it is the cream of technology. It's complex by nature, right? And you have to invest time and effort into that. So that learning AIML is not learning the tool. Learning AIML is learning the conceptual part of the AIML. That's the second thing,
Mm.
right? And third thing, I would say this is the most important thing, right? And I probably would say that this third point is more important to the experienced fellows in IT industry. So AIML is something that can, I mean, probably let me give you a background before I talking about the whole context here. Last year, there was a report came from MIT that 95%, probably 95%, they said, of the AI ML business or investment has not returned any ROI yet. A lot of them failed. And why?
Yeah, it
Right?
made a lot of the stocks of value come down.
Yes, right. Right. It doesn't mean that AI ML is not going to sustain. It is going to change the whole world. Anything that can be digitized, anything that can be digitized where human involvement is not there, right? You can do it in laptop would be replaced by AI very soon in next few years. All the human work like farming, cooking, all of things, it will take time, right? So this is very important to understand. But the most important thing people has to understand how you implement AI/ML, where you can get the most benefit out of it. As long as you don't understand the conceptual part of AI/ML, you will never be able to understand that. But I can give a clue right here. Wherever you see a lot of data, you can get benefit of AI/ML from there. So data is the core, the skeleton of this whole transformation. The whole AI/ML transformation, business transformation happening is the skeleton. Data is the skeleton. So I have seen companies, they're in race. They started with a company. I'm not giving an example, right? But I have seen that company started with conversation AI. That means you are booking orders through conversation, viral conversation. That hey, I want to buy this laptop. Fair enough. And then the conversation AI is actually talking to you, what configuration you want. You verbally updating them, and conversation happens, and you place the order. Right? So a lot of companies targeted that fast. Rather than if, say, for an example, that is an e-commerce or retail company, they don't need to do it because they don't have data to train the model. Even that investment, if they could have doing for some logistic work, say for an example, warehouse, automating warehouse through an agentic framework, because they have years of data of warehouse maintenance. That will yield lot of ROI. At least the probability of getting better ROI for backend system is more prominent because they have adequate data. Something fancy, which actually maybe you can see that, hey, you can show it to the market that, hey, we implemented this and we are getting, right? We have done this. That could be eye-catchy, but that might not immediately return the ROI. We need more investment and more data and more advancement. Rather, if you do some backend, database status work, or there are a lot of other things. I'm not getting into that technical details, but yeah. So wherever the concept here is, wherever there are a lot of data, you invest there. That will yield more ROI. So this is the third advice I definitely give to anyone, particularly to the leaders, right, or experienced people, to think about AI/ML.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. I heard something similar in one of my past episodes, and it's really only as good as the data that you put in, right? And that's why I think the more
Yes.
data you collect as a company, I guess, um, the better AI can be. I mean, there's so many different ways it can be utilized, right? Once you feed it enough data about your company, I guess, and
Exactly.
very interesting. So maybe I'm sure you've ran into some challenges over the years. What's maybe one that stands out, one of the biggest challenges you ran into in your career, and how did you overcome it?
So throughout my career, I have gone through multiple roles, developer to now senior leader, right? So challenges that I personally face, I do not consider that everyone face, but but the business, I have seen a lot of transformation. The biggest challenges, I'm not going into AML now because AML is always definitely poses a lot of challenges to the whole industry, not only IT, the entire industry. But the biggest challenges I consider is the modernization or transformation of business. Particularly with AML, things will change very rapidly, right? So transformation, modernization is very essential. So the reason I'm saying that the timing is more important when you do the transformation, because this world is very competitive and it is getting more competitive day by day, right? So if a company can afford, right? So where that piece of money or that budget should be invested, transformation or advancing the technologies. That is actually very debateful, right? So if you spend that money advancing the technology, but you are still your core is some old legacy technology, it will not scale,
Mm.
right? You might
Yeah.
get some early success, but in long run, your operation maintenance cost will be so high that you will not be able to save money to do some, future work. Basically, your what I want to say, your revenue will be consumed by operation and maintenance work more rather than any R&D and all, right? R&D is important. You can keep
Yep.
10, 20%, some percent, 5 to 10% aside, right? But your first and foremost criteria would be transformation. Do not live in the legacy world, and particularly in current scenario with AML, modernizing your application is very important. There are a lot of companies, they started this journey at a very later stage where there are big giants, name it, all the top 10 Fortune, 550 companies and all, they started early. And that's helped the business, right?
Mm.
So that is, I would say, I think from business standpoint perspective, that should be the biggest challenge for company to decide, because they will see that if I invest this money in modernization now, will be running behind to the rest of AIML now. Say for an example, right? So we'll invest in AIML, but you are still running on a legacy system. Maybe you are partially cloud. It could be like hybrid cloud, and a lot of things your system is supporting on premise, like your hardware. Upgrade those into cloud first. I would say, even though you were running little far, the damage if you investing on AI now, but not investing on modernizing your infrastructure would be more in future, right? So that I know leaders actually doing the right thing. Obviously, they understand this fact, but calling it out is important. And I think personally that's the biggest challenge to decide. Sometimes things could not be that easier.
Yeah. It's probably because
Sometimes
it's
it
not
could be a
as
lot of that. Yeah,
yeah, it's maybe not as doesn't sound as sexy as doing
exactly.
the other stuff, but it sounds like it's pretty important if you want to grow. Okay. So kind of going away from the active, a lot of business professionals and business owners throughout the years, they start thinking about um, more passive investments and maybe not how do they supplement their active income? Is there anything that you've done on that end? Whether it's stocks or real estate or just other passive income?
Yes, I invested in stocks, and over a period of time, I do see some returns. But in terms of investment, right? When you invest, you can invest. I mean, real estate definitely, right? And but not in a large scale, right?
Hmm.
Um, but stocks, yes, to some extent, or maybe a good amount. The fact here is when you invest in stock, even in real estate, you need to have the appetite for long term. Stocks doesn't yield immediate return, and it can go even deep, but not getting panicked and think for a long term is important for stock, even though for real estate, right? So yes, to answer you, invested, and I'm holding my patience
Yeah.
on stocks. And
Yeah, I agree with you on the long term. It seems like nowadays everybody's wanting that instant gratification, but I try to tell everybody that if somebody's guaranteeing you some really high returns and it's going to be, within 12 months or a short period of time, if it sounds too good to be true, it's probably too good to be true.
yes, anything that sounds too good to be true, don't fall into that.
Yep, yep. Okay, so as we're kind of wrapping up the interview here, do you have any exciting plans or initiatives that you have in the works for the next, let's say, 6 to 12 months?
Yes, actually, in fact, I do. So I'm working on a particular research. So basically two, I would say. One is a research journal that should soon be, I believe, soon be published because it's undergoing review. So I just don't want it to give a hard bite saying that it will definitely be published. But few rounds of review happen and in a reputed Q1 journal. So that's upcoming. And this is all about predicting customer churn, like why customer leave your country and how. So it's not country, I'm sorry, your company, and how you understand that pattern and how can you prevent that, right?
Nice.
Particularly for e-commerce. So that's probably coming. But at this very moment, actively I'm working on a architecture, right, through an agentic AI, a model to make the recommendation system much better. So in current recommendation system, if you go to Netflix recommend, if you go to Amazon recommend. Business, particularly retail and e-commerce business actually heavily depend on recommendation system. But there is a subtle difference between searching the same thing in different location across different geography. For an example, there is a word called kurta, Kurta. It's an Indian word. So it is not exactly jacket. It's a traditional, outfit. If you are in India, if you search kurta, most of the e-commerce search or websites will give you the result, which is actually kurta. But in US, if you search it, Amazon probably will give you the right thing, but a lot of e-commerce site, right, sellers probably give you jacket or coat or something. So this then it is not context aware recommendation system, right? So different company has a different way to resolve that, but there is no uniform solutions. So I'm working on a solutions which actually check the demography and there are a lot of other ones. Just an example I'm giving, but it's context aware doesn't mean only that different culture, not only culture, but demography, age, culture, a lot of other pattern and other I would say features it will understand. And based on all these things and your previous history, it will give you the more accurate search results. And it's only happening because of this agentic AI world, the way agentic AI has been designed and take the leverage of that. So in order to do that, I actually use multiple models behind the scene of an agent, framework. And that agent actually calling the right model at the right time, depending on the features. So just a brief about that. So, I've learned a lot of testing, full-time job and a lot of other things, plus family, and then doing the research work. I have actually another person who is actually actively working. We both are working on that. And hopefully that research work would be really helpful. Definitely, once it is published, I'm not submitting a patent. So if any company wants to use that architecture design, they can definitely do. But my whole intention here is to add value to the AI ML so that it can be benefited. What I mean, a lot of organizations and individuals can get benefit out of that.
Oh, that's amazing. I think if I understand it correctly, like I can go search for something, you can go search for the same thing, and it can give us different recommendations
Based on
because of our.
age, demography, location, and a lot of things. Yes.
Wow. Very interesting. Joy, thank you very much for all the insight and for sharing the tips that you've given us here today. If people wanted to connect with you, how should they do that? What's the best way for them to do that?
The best way to do it is I'm very active in LinkedIn. So search my name, Joyjit, Joyjit first and last name Roy. And I'm from Austin. So
Nice.
they can figure it out. There is only one Joyjit Roy in Austin. You can easily find me out and send me a request. You will get immediate response. And I love to talk to people, new people, creating new connection, getting new connection, or mingle with, individuals. So
Yeah, I think it's amazing that you publish those things and you don't really expect anything in return. Yeah, it's amazing. Thank you, Joy.
thank you. Thank you, George. You have a wonderful day.
You too.
Thanks for listening to Elevate the Game. If you're a mover and shaker in DFW with game to share, apply to be a guest at elevatethegamepodcast.com/guest.